Hi there. Thanks for joining us again. I hope you guys are all doing great. And today we just wanted to talk to you guys quickly about appraisal issues when selling your home and really how to avoid those issues altogether. The biggest factor in looking for a buyer that's going to successfully be able to purchase your house and not run into pitfalls that would not only harm them as a buyer, but more importantly as a seller, harm you. The best way to avoid that is to make sure you, or your listing agent, has done their homework on how to price your house. The best way to go about that is to look off of the multiple listing service. One of the services, actually a couple of the services that are available to just the general media and anyone else who would like to look on it via the internet would be websites such as named Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, San Diego Lookup is another one, and I'm sure you guys have found many other sister-like companies that have actually, and also far distant cousin companies as well that are third-party and fourth and fifth-party websites. The best way, quite honestly, is to go straight off of the multiple listing service, which your agent who is licensed will have access to. And the best way to, again, to reiterate, to help you avoid any issues that would come about on an appraisal is to make sure that homework has been done as to your comparable properties when you list the house. To draw out just a plain simple numbers example, if your house is valued at $500,000 and you purchased it in this market, hopefully that would be the scenario, at $400,000, and now your property is worth $500,000, you're not going to want to price your property above that mark. But the big question is, how do you determine if your house is not worth more or less than $500,000? Most of you can already assume the best way to do that is to look at your comparable properties. It's often referred to as a CMA. Real estate agents and other agents alike would know exactly what that is. Appraisers also go off of those numbers. Though I myself am not a licensed appraiser, I am a licensed real estate agent, so I do have access to the MLS to help basically determine the value. Oftentimes properties that become a sold property, meaning someone has it within a certain amount of time frame, purchase the house, they will then make it a sold public disclosed amount. That way, when the time comes, you as a seller would be able to determine your actual value property as long as it matches up in a couple of different factors. Obviously, some of the first factors would be, does the size of the house that just sold match up, or is it close to yours, square footage wise? Some of the other factors is, do you have the same bedrooms? Do you have the same amount of bathrooms? What about garage space? How big is your backyard compared to their backyard, or how big is your front yard compared to their front yard? Location. Are they right up against the street or the freeway, or are you right up against the street or the freeway and they might not be? So those are just a couple of the factors that play into help determining the price of your property so that you, when selling the property, can avoid an appraisal issue. And again, little side note, for an appraisal issue to develop, obviously the only way for that to happen is you have to have a financed offer from a buyer when you're selling your house. If you have an all-cash offer, pretty much that's not going to be an issue. But you can be sure that someone who has that much cash has done their homework and is going to know the appropriate price for your property, because they're going to do the homework too. Again, it's going to help to have your listing agent and yourself review the comparable properties around your neighborhood and a little bit maybe further out, as long as square footage matches up, as long as your backyard or front yard size also factors. Do you have a pool? Do they have a pool? Do you not have a pool? So on and so forth. Bedrooms, Do you have more bedrooms or less bedrooms than those comparable properties in your neighborhood that have sold? And bathrooms. Do you have more or less? Those factors are going to help ensure a smoother transaction when selling your property. If you do not do those things and the real value of your house is $500,000 because that's what your neighbor's house and then their neighbor's house sold for. So you got a couple of different neighbors that are exactly like your house or very close to it, sold for $500,000. You're really only going to be hurting yourself by putting your house up for sale on the market for, as an example, $550,000. Because, truth be told, buyers also look at how long you've been sitting on the market. It is a supply and demand game, as you would be able to assume as a seller. So you want to avoid that. You don't want to underprice your house, again, to reiterate that, and you don't want to overprice your house. No one wins in either that situation. So you and your agents have an obligation pretty much to yourself to do your due diligence and do your homework. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You can post them below for advice on appraisers and how that further works and how they do their jobs. I do know and have a couple more insights and have access to ask actual appraisers. Let me know if you guys want to see a video or interview from an actual appraiser, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you watching. Hey guys, have yourself a great day. And again, please don't forget to comment right below and write what you guys would like to hear about or ask questions, and feel free to leave comments. Thanks so much. Again, this is the Taylor's Real Estate YouTube website. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.